Hey everyone, this is Matt from End Sickness. This video is going to be teaching you how to eat when you're reacting to everything. What do you do when you're reacting to nearly everything? And it seems like all the foods cause some type of reaction and you're stuck in this situation. Well, I've been in this situation. I was reacting to all but 4 different foods, I thought, and all the other foods that cause throat swelling, panic attacks, itchiness, etc. But the reality was, looking back on it, that I was being exposed to mold and mycotoxins. And most of the time when you're reacting that significantly to various foods, all kind of foods across the board, there is an element of mycotoxin exposure, exposure to mold or fungal fragments, and your immune system developing a hypersensitivity, an exaggerated response to them. And that is causing your immune system to be on high alert because you're constantly inhaling this thing. So it's constantly making your immune system more and more aggravated. So that makes you start to react to nearly everything you're eating, right? So when you're in that situation, you have to choose what foods you're going to eat that will cause the least amount of reactions, the lowest probability reactions. And the foods that are going to cause the lowest probability reaction, have the lowest probability, are the simpler proteins, there's complex protein structures and there's simple protein structures. Simple would be something like fruit. Complex protein food would be like eggs, dairy, nuts and seeds, gluten, things like that. So the simpler the protein structure of the food, the easier it is for your body to digest it, and the less likely it is to exit it through the bloodstream and through the gut into the bloodstream and cause a hypersensitivity reaction, since it would be more likely to be digested. So you want to focus on the foods like your fruit, your vegetables, your rice, your potatoes, your beans and lentils, oil, salt, things like that, the basic foods that are much simpler. If you can't handle the beans and lentils, then don't do it. Do everything else. You got to do that for a period of a few weeks, sometimes a month or two, and to get to a point where your body's not reacting to anything and you're flaring down, your flares come down dramatically and the symptoms would come down dramatically. But the key is not doing things like the eggs, dairy, the nuts, the seeds, the gluten, too much meat. Most importantly, really, on the end of the day, that's key, because when you eat too much meat or you eat these other foods and they're not broken down, they sabotage the gut lining and they cause issues. They cause issues which make you then react to everything else. So if you want to get the gut lining to seal up, you got to eat the foods that are simpler to break down, have simpler protein structures. Like I said, the eggs, the dairy, the nuts, the seeds, the gluten, all those things you got to avoid. The processed foods, the meat, these are the key things sabotaging your gut health. So ideally what you do is you start off with the foods that you can respond well to, that are plants, and you go mostly plant-based for a period of a month or two. Get your body back to a point where you're tolerating plants, a wide variety of plants. Now you're eating 15, 20 different plants. Then at that point, you can try adding the animal products back in and see how you tolerate them every other day or in small amounts and see how you do. But you need it to go ahead and take an exit off the animal products and the other common irritants, like I mentioned, to get to the low-grade irritants, the foods that have the lowest possibility of irritating you, and stick with that for a period of a month or two. This is how I help people get out of this scenario where their back's up against the wall and they're eating 3 different foods, and within 2-3 months they're eating 20 different foods, right? And we get them off of the things that are triggering them. Typically people are eating the same things over and over and over again, and that's the biggest mistake of all when you're trying to heal from mast cell activation or chronic illness, or when you have endless food sensitivities. You don't want to keep eating the same things over and over again. You want to rotate foods. You got to get plenty of variation and keep a rotation going so you don't develop sensitivities to foods while you deal with this environmental issue that's more than likely causing it in the first place. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. My website is endsickness.org. I have hundreds of articles, hundreds of videos on there teaching you how to heal. Take care.